It is Wednesday, March 26th here at the West End Gun Club. 7:20. Got here this morning to do a run-through of the NRL22 April 2025 Course of Fire. It was dark when I got here and foggy. It's still a little foggy, but at least we can still see the impact area. So it took me a little bit of time to just get some stuff set up because I had to wait for a little bit of light. But we're going to go ahead and get this run-through done. And I do have to get home by 1300 because even though I took today off, some meetings got scheduled that I have to attend in the afternoon. So I think I have 3 or 4 meetings to attend in the afternoon. So I am kind of working on my day off, but it is what it is. Didn't anticipate those to get scheduled today. So, that's work. Anyway, I already zeroed, set up one stage, I think. Set up 2 stages. And I'm going to try out this thing that you might see on my forend here, this funky looking bipod. And if you can see it in the video, it is a Magpul bipod. And I know a lot of people are probably like cringing right now, but it is a Magpul bipod with the ARM17 interface, and I put a Really Right Stuff clamp on it. I think the SCLR. The clamp costs more than the bipod. But I wanted to try one out to see if it truly is garbage because, yeah, a lot of people like Magpul, and I think there's a lot of Magpul fanboys and fangirls out there who just buy it because it's Magpul. And I am skeptical about this thing, but we'll try it out. This is a 26-pound rifle. We'll see how well it handles it and how it feels. But I don't think there's much prone shooting today. I don't even know I'm going to use the bipod today during these stages because I didn't really look at them all completely. So we'll just try this one out and see how it works out because I'm going to try a little bit of shooting with this on various guns to see if this Magpul bipod is worth $100. Anyway, let's go ahead and start off with the stage run through, or the Course of Fire run through. The first stage in the April 2025 NRL22 Course of Fire that we're running through is called Moving is Good for the Heart. It's a 10-round stage, 120-second part-time as per usual. We have 2 sets of targets. We have a 1.5 on a double hanger at 72 yards, and we have a 2.5 on a double hanger at 95 yards. No, the restriction here is that positions cannot be repeated. You're going to start standing rifle to high ready, all gear in hand, mag in, action open. On the start signal, you'll engage the targets with 1 shot each, near to far, from any outside position on the pyramid. You must always move to the other side of the pyramid after every 2 shots, and repeat after every second shot, and repeat the engagement order. You will alternate side to side without repeating the previously used positions for a total of 5 different positions. Pretty straightforward. All you're going to do is going to start from any outside of ledge or step, and then move to the opposite side and just keep alternating. So if you wanted to, you will just go, left to right, then right to left, and left to right. Or sorry, you have to move to the other side. So left to right, left to right, left to right. Or you can go right to left, right to left, right to left, and you'll just have to keep changing, you don't repeat a position, so you just can't go alternate back and forth like this. Pretty straightforward. I think most people like to start high because they don't want to crouch down or getting prone, because the lowest one is probably the worst position because you're breaking your position completely and coming off your belly. So it's probably best to just stay high if you can. If you're taller on these pyramids, just to use the top ledge and then work your way down. I think that's the best way to go. But it's all personal preference. And as I mentioned earlier, I always recommend working your way down because you're just taking your rifle and just coming down, as opposed to picking up your rifle and increasing your height of your body, and you're kind of creating more work on yourself because it's easier just to go down as opposed to come up as far as your exertion. That's just my mentality. But let's go and try to run through this one. Hit the roof with my rifle. I didn't start my timer, but 76:35. After I shot this, I double checked the stage description to make sure I ran through it correctly, but this is a very easy stage. Basically 2 shots, 5 different positions, just moving after every second shot. Your target engagements are simple. I dial 0.7 and 1.7 for my dope, so it's basically just dialed for my 72-yard target and it held up 1. Very easy holdover, not much to think about here. All I can tell you as far as advice is just pick the position that you want to start off from. That works best for you. I don't recommend shooting the prone. I mean, some people prefer that, but maybe you have time. If it's a really poor condition day, like it's high wind and you need a wind call, maybe you can go prone, because like there is a lot of time, to be honest. So I don't feel like you'll time out if you wanted to go prone and work your way up and get off the ground, because you're just starting prone and then coming up. But for me, I feel like it's just easier to shoot standing. And even for me, with as short as I am, I can shoot off this top rung of the pyramid and get a stable shot really easily. So I just prefer standing. Worst case, I start second, third, and come down to the fourth and do a kneeling. But for me, I don't know, it's just less work on me if I just stay standing. So that's my advice here. Again, it's up to you, personal preference. If the conditions, make it worthwhile to go for, you can start prone. Again, if you have a pretty poor condition day and you need a good wind call and you want to make sure you have the most stable position as possible, then yeah, definitely prone would work out. I mean, it's just a little bit harder to just kind of shift your body to the other side, especially given how wide this pyramid is. I believe that's a 5-foot segment from the bottom rung. So you're going to have to come all the way to this side. So you are increasing your distance there too, if you ever think about it that way. And from a prone position, it's going to be hard to like roll your body over and slide. You don't want to have to get up because that's just taking more time. But again, you have plenty of time though, so maybe that's something you'll want to do. Again, try it out yourself, see what you think, if you have a pyramid that you can practice off of, and see how this one goes for you. Anyway, let's move on to the next stage in this Course of Fire. The next stage we're running through is called Is This Paradise? No Rimfire, it's an NRL22 match. I don't know about that title, but anyway, it's a 12-round stage. 120-second part time. We have 3 sets of targets. We have a 1-inch on a single hanger at 52, a 2-inch on a single hanger at 82, and then a 2.5 and a 3-inch on a double hanger at 92 yards. Restriction: only 1 prop may be repeated. You're going to start standing rifle with the high ready, all gear in hand, mag in action open. On the start signal, you'll engage the targets with 1 shot each, large to small, in the following order and manner. Prop number 1, far to near. Prop number 2, near to far. Prop number 1, far to near. So when they say only 1 prop can be repeated, that'll be your first one. So pick whichever one. Start off on the 1 prop that you want to go back to. So I feel like I'm going to start off the barrel, go to the buck, and come back to the barrel. But again, first prop, far to near, large to small. Second prop, near to far, large to small. Back to prop 1, far to near, large to small. Pretty straightforward. We are shooting at an angle, and I do have my laser rangefinder with the inclinometer, I guess if you want to call that. So our angle of attack is 6 degrees roughly from ground level. Yeah, it'll be 6 degrees, 7 degrees, 5 degrees, 6 degrees roughly. 6 degrees for the back target. So it's a pretty steep angle, all things considering, for this distance. And since you'll be shooting off the ground, off the bucket, pretty low to the ground, you're going to want some sort of bag to really support the rear of your rifle, because you're going to be angling it up here at the West End Gun Club. If you're shooting ground level, I feel like you don't really need as much support as long as you can balance the rifle, but you have to force this rifle up while you're here at the West End Gun Club, so I recommend a rear bag of some kind. Anyway, let's go ahead and try this stage out. plenty of time. Gotta wait for that to settle down. I'll just parallax. I would rank this stage lower on the difficulty scale. If you're experienced, you shouldn't really have much problem with this. If you're a beginner, you may fumble a little bit off that bucket because it does slide around, especially on concrete. If you try to like put force on your gun, or you're moving your gun around, you're going to move the bucket around. So it's something you just got to be aware of. For the barrel, I think this is the best position to start off from and repeat because it's the easiest, most stable for me at least. Pretty simple, just use a single rail attached bag. Although if you want, you could use a standalone medium game changer or a large game changer, which might be a little bit better for you. But this is stable enough for me. If you notice during the stage, I kind of was on the edge of the barrel because I'm trying to angle my gun up. I do have this magazine barricade stop, which does impact how I put my gun on the barrel. So I do have to keep this a little bit farther back off that edge, and then gives me a little bit of angle here so I can adjust my gun and angle up 6 degrees. So that's why I'm here. You may find yourself using the center of the barrel. It's up to you, depending on how your match venue is. And if you're shooting at level ground, obviously that's not going to be a big deal. I can stay on center and be a little bit and angle my gun down to the ground because we'll be shooting level ground. But we're shooting an incline here, which is why I'm on those positions. Moving to the bucket, I did use the big mega bag. You can use a pump pill if you want, but basically just a quick transition. Get the gun down. We're angling up here and just trying to find a good angle by which to, or position of my bag, and then getting that rear support to get on to the target. This does help significantly, so highly recommend using a rear bag, especially if you're shooting ground level, because at ground level you still need more support. Although it is possible that you might be able to just balance your gun and shoot kind of a sitting position like this. If you're flexible enough, you can shoot down and have your gun in a sitting position. I am short, I have a smaller stature, and I can do that. But I would figure that more taller people will probably not want to do that, and they'll just probably just shoot kind of a quasi kneeling, or have this a little bit higher up and have a pump pillow here to help support them. You could try to shoot bipod, it's up to you. I don't like to shoot bipod off of these things anymore, simply because you're fumbling around a lot. But if you have a bipod of a smaller footprint, you can probably make it work on the bucket and make it work on this as a quasi bench rest. Lots of different tactics to take here, but I shot bags only, and I would recommend that personally, especially for the West End Gun Club. And just a reminder, or if you're not aware, that if you ever are in a situation, a match where you want to use a different type of bag for a given stage and you don't have that bag, you don't own it, ask to borrow it. On your stage or your squad, I'm sure that there's people there who have lots of bags. Just ask them, hey, can I use your bag for that stage? You're all shooting in turns, so it's not like they can't loan you their bag for your run. So definitely ask. I always let people use this if I have it here. If they're on my squad, I just have it there, and I tell them you're free to use that if you'd like to. So don't feel afraid to ask, because people should be loaning a bag. It's not a big deal to let somebody use a bag for a stage. Anyway, let's move on to the next stage in this Course of Fire run through. Next stage of fire running through is called No Time to Snooze in a Chair. 10-round stage. We have 2 banks of targets. We have the full KYL rack at 42. That's the 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch, 3/4 inch, and 1 inch. KYL rack, 42 yards. Then we have a 1.5 on a double hanger at 70 yards. And the fog just really rolled in, so I can barely see my 70-yard target. Anyway, this is the bonus stage, so if you finish with extra time on the clock, you get bonus points. You're going to start standing, rifle at the high ready, all gear in hand, mag in action open. On the start signal, you take a prone position and engage the KYL rack from large to small, and then the far target with 1 shot each, so that's 5 rounds. Transition to the chair seat and engage the far target and then the KYL rack from large to small with 1 shot each. Interesting order. You're still going to do large to small on the KYL from both positions, but you're going to go KYL, then far target, then you're going to go to chair, and then far target and KYL. I don't know if they do that just to trip you up, to see people who are trying to rush through the stage and go for speed. Maybe they just forget and end up engaging the KYL first. Don't know, but we'll try this one out. And I don't know, well, I might have to wait for that fog is really thick up there. I can make it out. I can make it out in the optic. All right, let's try this one out. Barely nicked it. 70's a 0.5, I think. 0.5. Nicked it left side. Oh, I probably should have gone parallel to that. That's okay. Could have done parallel. I don't know if I hit that. It's on that next berm. I want a little height. Yeah. That fog is really killing that target. Okay, 23 seconds left. I ran this twice. The first time I ran it with the bipod on the chair, had the bipod set all the way back. The issue at hand here is that it gets very wobbly given the height I'm at. And I could have lowered the bipod to get it down a little bit more and make it a little bit more stable. But you can see here, there's a lot of play. The pan is locked out. This is just the byproduct of the Magpul Bipod having this slop here in the gun for just minor pan corrections, which is fine, but it's really exaggerated when you have it at the middle of the gun and creating this fulcrum point. So there's a lot of twisting and torsional action here, which makes this very unstable. I didn't like it. I think I missed the second engagement, the far target, when shooting off the bipod on the chair. and it just felt really unstable here, and I tried to get my bag underneath my pistol grip to really get that position there. And what I ended up doing, though, because of the way the balances of this rifle, I was really trying to pull down the rifle to get the muzzle up. So I didn't like it. So in the end, the second run felt a lot better. I just ran the bipod like normal, to the front, and then ran, prone, rear support, and then switched to this as my front support. Got this onto the chair. And although the bipod here is a little bit in the way of the chair, I could probably just take it off. But I just ran the bag here and then shot basically off the front rest as bag as the front rest, and it felt a lot more stable. You saw me kind of take my support arm and kind of put it on the ground here because I was just checking to see what my pulse was and where that pulse was coming from, and I just felt like I was putting some shake into the gun on this chair. It was causing the wobble. So either way, just trying to control that wobble that I'm creating on the chair when I'm supporting the gun. In all honesty, I would probably rip this bipod off once you get off of prone, so it's not in the way of the chair, because most guns are going to have an issue here, because if you're trying to balance that rifle there on the front rest with a bag, your bipod might hit. My gun is a little bit more unique than others because I have this front barricade stop there that's hitting the chair. So in the end run, what I would do is just shoot prone, strip the bipod off, go to chair, front rest, bag, and then shoot like this. And you should be relatively stable enough. Those are my tips there. Hopefully you got something out of this. Again, we're shooting an upward angle, so it's going to be a little bit different from most other venues. You're shooting ground level, so you probably won't have as much problems shooting with front rest support only. You won't need a rear rest from the chair because you're just basically shooting level ground, and you can just balance your gun perfectly, not even touch the gun, and then break a clean shot with no real new issues. Anyway, let's move on to the next stage in the Course of Fire. Next stage we're running through is called Saddle Up, Time to Tame the Sawhorse. It's a 12-round stage. We have two sets of targets. We have a 1.5 and a 2-inch on a double hanger at 69 yards. We have a 2.5 on a single hanger at 92 yards. No restrictions. You're going to start standing, rifle to high ready, all gear in hand, mag in action open. On the start signal, you'll engage targets, large to small, from the Sawhorse in the following manner. Left side of the Sawhorse near to far. Right side of the Sawhorse far to near. The Sawhorse shelf, which is this lower section here, which we just use a 2x4 because we don't have a shelf here. But this will be near to far. Then left side of the Sawhorse again, far only. Then right side of the Sawhorse, near only. Pretty interesting. So we have two targets near on a double hanger, one target far on a single hanger. So left side of the Sawhorse, near to far, large to small. Right side, far to near, large to small. Sawhorse shelf, near to far, large to small. Then left side of Sawhorse, far only. Right side, near only, large to small. Near far, far near far, far near. So that's 3, 3, 3 for 9. 10, that's 1, 11, 12. Interesting. Magazine change must be conducted after the first shot and before the last shot. If the magazine change is not conducted, then the last two impacts will not count. Yeah. I figure it makes sense to go ahead and do your mag change after this to shoot the last two on a fresh mag here. But pick your own cadence, however you want to do it. But just remember, near far, far near far, far near. All right, let's try this one out. I dipped it. Really foggy out there. Out there. Far. 1 mil hold. Here. 27 seconds. Oh, forgot my mag change. 20 seconds. Whew. Missed one. This stage is not too difficult. It's kind of straightforward, I would think, as far as your cadence: near, far, far, near, near, far, far, near. 3, 3, 3, 1, 2, 12 rounds. Forgot my mag change, but it's kind of easy to remember when you run out of ammo. So for those of you who are running large, greater than 10 round capacity magazines in free states, got to remember mag change. But in California, when you're running 10 rounders, easy to remember. But then again, maybe you should only load 10 rounds for your first mag so you don't forget. In any case, I missed one round. I didn't use rear support here. I probably could have to get a little bit more stable here, just one knee up. I'm just kind of a fan of shooting 2 knees down, both knees down, and just shooting square up to the rifle. But I guess I could use it. I could have used this as a rear support bag to fill my body. But I just feel like most of the time I end up wobbling more than if I just let the gun free sit on the barricade and take this shot. But I am, I guess, relatively stable, so maybe I'll decide to do that. But then, and of course, I needed this for rear support on the bottom shelf here. We're shooting at upward angle, 6 degrees, so I had to get this gun up there and then use this as rear support. Not much else to say here. Just remember the cadence: near, far, far, near, near, far, far, near, and you should be fine. So just your standard Sawhorse stage, which is a little bit of different things thrown in just to kind of mix it up a little bit. Anyway, that's it for this stage. Let's move on to the last stage in this course of fire. Oh, by the way, sorry, I should mention that I did have 0.6 dialed in for 0.6? 0.6 dialed in for the 69-yard targets, and I just held up 1 mil for the 92-yard target. So it was an easy holdover for me. And I didn't dial parallax, although I was thinking about doing it just for the sake of getting my video clear, but I didn't do that. I think parallax would just spend a lot of, you'll waste a lot of time in this run of the Sawhorse that you probably can't do that. And I would recommend just holding over. Anyway, now let's move on to the last stage in the course of fire. Last stage we're running through is called Rounding the Tank Trap Heading Home. It's a 10-round stage on a tank trap, as you can see. We have 2 targets. We have a 2-inch on a double hanger at 77 yards and a 3-inch on a single hanger at 100 yards. Restriction: no dialing of elevation while on the clock, but adjustments of parallax and windage are allowed. You're gonna start standing, rifle at the high ready, all gear in hand, mag and action open. On the start signal, engage the targets with 1 shot each in the following order and manner: center of the tank trap, near to far. Each tip, near to far, and then back to the center, far to near. So basically, you're gonna have 5 total positions starting at center, then the 3 tips and back to center, but it's gonna be near to far for the first 4 positions, and your last position on the center, far to near. Pretty straightforward. Let's run through this one. Any tip, I guess. here. That's pretty easy. 40-something seconds left on the clock. This is a really straightforward stage, and it should be relatively simple for everyone. You're shooting just 2 targets, near far, 4 times, and far near once, and then you go center, each tip, and then center for 5 total positions. Not much else to say. It's just the key to a tank trap is just a good balancing gun, in my opinion. My gun balances perfectly well. I don't have to influence it too much to get it on target and pull the trigger. It's really stable. Yeah, that's all there is to it as far as a tank trap stage. So I don't have really any real advice for you here. Obviously from the center, from the first position, you'll be able to get a good stable shot. And then your various tips on their tank trap, however you like to go in that order. I just went far right for no apparent reason. Went to back one and then far left. Sorry, right, back, left, and then back to center. I think for a right-handed shooter, the left tip is going to be the most stable in theory because you can brace your body against the trap here. The left side, not so much, but if you're a left-handed shooter, you can. So different ways to approach this. In any case, that's it for this. Let's go ahead and clean up, and we'll wind down this range vlog / NRL22 Course of Fire run through. Got all the targets and the props and barricades in the condensate container. About to lock that up. Then I'm going to pack up the rest of my gear and roll out of here. It is 9:50, so I made pretty decent time. So I can get home, kind of get something to eat, wind down, and then get to work. As far as my afternoon, got to take a bunch of calls starting at 1300. So it is what it is. As far as this Course of Fire, I feel it is pretty easy with just enough challenge for most people to make it interesting. I think you could probably have some cleans on this Course of Fire at your club. We'll see. Depends on conditions, of course, and just how things just happen. But I think it's a pretty simple Course of Fire. I think a couple stages will make you think about how you want to approach it. But I think most people should find this one not too bad. And it's a good beginner Course of Fire for people to come see NRL22 and try NRL22 and not get too frustrated, hopefully, as long as you've practiced a little bit as far as your procedures, is, you know, how to get onto your gun, how to transition from position to position, etc. This should be a pretty good Course of Fire to come and try out. And our next match at the West End Gun Club will be April 26th, I believe. April 27th, Sunday. For Sunday, April's April 27th. So if you're interested, come on out to an NRL22 match in SoCal, West End Gun Club. I'll put a link to the information page so you can check it out and register if you want to. As far as our Magpul Bipod that I tried out, I only really used it for one stage and just kind of warming up my gun in the beginning, just shooting at a paper target. So far, I don't really care for it. It's okay, but it's the extreme condition where I'm moving the bipod all the way to the rear as far as possible. There's a lot of slop in it because it has that built-in pan slop, and it really, on a heavy gun, it just doesn't hold up very well. And I don't know. I think a SkyPod is it feels a lot better, I think, as much slop as a SkyPod has, just naturally because of the way it's built. The Magpul Bipod doesn't, it's really sloppy as far as that pan. It's locked out too, but anyway. I'll try it on a lighter weight gun like my NRL Hunter rifle build and some other regular weight guns that are, you know, anywhere from 13 to 16 pounds, because this 26-pound Rimfire gun is just, you know, it's probably testing it to the extreme, but that's what we need to do to give an assessment on this Magpul Bipod. And I'll have more on this in the future, but I'm gonna give me a couple, at least 3 or 4 more range sessions with this on different guns before I can give an assessment on it. But I am biased and prejudiced against this Magpul Bipod because I think it's on paper it just I don't know. It's kind of, this bipod's like, why bother? Because there's plenty of other bipods out there. The Harris is, you know, almost the same price, a little bit more expensive, but I think the Harris is still tried and true if you're going to go in that budget route. Anyway, I'm going to roll out of here. That's it for today. Wednesday, March 26th here at the West End Gun Club. Thanks for watching. See you in the next vlog. Hopefully I'll see you at our next match.